a smiling couple, a dream road trip, and then chilling silence. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's cross-country van adventure captivated social media, their journey a sunlit highlight reel. But behind the perfect posts, something was wrong. Suddenly, Gabby's updates stopped. The world noticed. The dream trip became a national obsession, as followers and investigators alike searched for answers. Gabby's face was everywhere, missing posters, news, social feeds. The adventure had turned into a nightmare, and the search for truth had just begun. September 1st, 2021. Brian returns home alone. No Gabby, no explanation. He hires a lawyer, refuses to speak. Suspicion explodes. Gabby's family pleads for answers. Brian's silence only deepens the mystery. 10 days later, Gabby is reported missing. The FBI joins the search. Social media erupts. Every post, every video, every clue dissected by millions. Witnesses recall arguments, cryptic texts surface, and police bodycam footage hints at trouble. The hunt for Gabby becomes a hunt for Brian. Then, a devastating discovery shatters the silence. Before the headlines, Gabby Petito was a creative, adventurous soul from Long Island. Her art, energy, and wanderlust defined her. She lived for new experiences and sharing them with others. Gabby's travels weren't about likes, they were about living fully and authentically. Her Instagram was a digital scrapbook, inspiring others to chase their own dreams. The van trip was the culmination of years of planning and passion. Gabby was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a friend, a light to those who knew her. She set out for adventure, unaware of the darkness ahead. Gabby and Brian's story began as high school sweethearts on Long Island. They shared dreams of art, travel, and a life less ordinary. Their engagement and van life plans seemed picture-perfect online. But beneath the surface, friends noticed tension and volatility. Their relationship, tested by constant travel and close quarters, was more complicated than their posts revealed. In summer 2021, they hit the road, nomadic static, chasing freedom. For Gabby, it was a dream come true. For their relationship, the ultimate test. July 2nd, 2021, Gabby and Brian set off in their van, the Gypsy, chasing America's wild beauty. Their social media glowed with joy, hiking, laughing, exploring. Their YouTube debut painted a picture of perfect love and adventure. But van life was tough. Cramped spaces, constant travel, and the pressure to perform for an audience. The reality, isolation, stress, and growing cracks in their relationship. The dream they sold online masked a much harsher truth. The van became a pressure cooker, rolling toward tragedy. The world saw the dream, but missed the nightmare unfolding inside. In Moab, Utah, the first cracks in Gabby and Brian's van life appeared. A 911 call reported a domestic dispute, leading police to pull over their white van. The encounter, captured on police bodycam, showed Gabby crying and overwhelmed, while Brian appeared calm. Officers separated them for the night, hoping to de-escalate. But this moment, later seen by millions, was a warning sign that something was deeply wrong beneath the surface. After the police stop in Moab, tension lingered as the couple traveled north to Wyoming. At the Mary Piglet's restaurant in Jackson, witnesses saw Brian's explosive anger and Gabby in tears. The public outburst was another sign of deep trouble. Meanwhile, Gabby's mother grew worried as her daughter's messages became less frequent and more distant. The family's concern escalated, helpless as the situation spiraled far from home. The Wyoming landscape, once a dream, now marked the beginning of a tragic end. The last known, confirmed sighting of Gabby Petito alive was on August 27th, the same day as the incident at the Mary Piglet's restaurant. She and Brian were seen checking out of a hotel near Salt Lake City. After this, the timeline becomes murky, pieced together through a series of increasingly strange and cryptic text messages sent from Gabby's phone. On that same day, her mother, Nicole Schmidt, received a text that read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls. The message was alarming because Stan is Gabby's grandfather, and she never referred to him by his first name. Nicole immediately knew something was wrong. It didn't sound like her daughter. This odd text message was the beginning of the end of communication. It suggested that someone else might have been using Gabby's phone, or that Gabby herself was in a situation where she could not communicate freely. The message created a sense of confusion and dread for her family. It was followed by another text on August 30th, which simply said, "No service in Yosemite." This message would later be viewed with extreme suspicion by investigators. The couple's van was tracked to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming around this time, nowhere near Yosemite National Park in California, which is, hundreds of miles away. The message seemed designed to mislead, to throw her family off the trail of her true location. This text from August 30th was the last message her family would ever receive from her phone. After that, there was only silence. Her Instagram account, which had been a lively chronicle of her journey, fell dormant. Her final post, dated August 25th, showed her holding a small crocheted pumpkin with the caption, "Happy Halloween." The cheerful, out-of-season post now seems eerily out of place. A final, disconnected snapshot before she disappeared from the digital world entirely. For days, her family tried to contact her, sending texts and leaving voicemails that went unanswered. The silence was absolute and terrifying. The period between August 27th and August 30th is now believed to be when Gabby was killed. The final text messages were likely a cruel deception, a calculated effort by Brian Laundrie to buy himself time and create a false narrative about Gabby's whereabouts. He was attempting to lead her family to believe she was safe and simply out of cell range in a different national park. This deception allowed him to begin his long drive back to Florida alone, leaving behind a trail of digital lies that would soon unravel, exposing the horrific truth of what happened in the remote wilderness of Wyoming. The dream trip had ended in the darkest way imaginable. On September 1st, 2021, the white Ford Transit van returned to Northport, Florida. But only Brian Laundrie stepped out. Gabby Petito was missing. He offered no explanation, didn't call her parents, and didn't report her missing. Instead, Brian and his family hired a lawyer and refused to speak to Gabby's frantic family. 10 days later, Gabby's parents filed a missing person report, launching a national search, and Brian was named a person of interest. With Gabby officially declared a missing person, the pressure on Brian Laundrie and his family intensified dramatically. The Northport Police Department publicly pleaded with the Laundrie family's lawyer, Stephen Bertolino, for cooperation. In a statement, Police Chief Todd Garrison tweeted directly at the lawyer saying, "Mr. Stephen Bertolino, ESQ, the Northport Police needs your help in finding Gabby Petito." The family's response, delivered through their lawyer, was steadfast and infuriating. They stated that on the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family would be remaining in the background and would have no further comment. This legalistic, detached response fueled a firestorm of public outrage. The decision to lawyer up and remain silent transformed the Laundrie family from concerned parents into perceived accomplices in the eyes of the public. While it is their constitutional right to remain silent, the moral implications of their choice were staggering. A young woman was missing, and her family was desperate for answers that the Laundries almost certainly held. Their silence was seen not as a legal strategy, but as a profound betrayal. Protesters began to gather outside their Northport home, holding signs with Gabby's face and chanting, "Where is Gabby?" The case exploded on social media, with hashtags like "Find Gabby" and "Justice for Gabby" trending worldwide as a global community of strangers demanded answers. The media frenzy reached a fever pitch. The story had all the elements of a modern true crime saga: a beautiful young couple, a picturesque van life adventure gone wrong, and a mysterious fiancé who held all the secrets. News vans lined the street outside the Laundrie residence, their cameras trained on the front door, waiting for any sign of movement or a break in the case. Online sleuths on platforms like TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube began their own investigations, dissecting every piece of available information. from the couple's social media history to the police bodycam footage, in an attempt to piece together the timeline and uncover clues that law enforcement might have missed. This groundswell of public attention played a crucial role in the investigation. It kept Gabby's story on the front page and put immense pressure on law enforcement to dedicate significant resources to the search. While Brian Laundrie remained hidden behind his parents' front door, the search for Gabby intensified, expanding across the vast landscapes of Wyoming where she was last believed to be. The nation watched, waited, and hoped for a miracle. But as each day of silence from the Laundrie family passed, the hope for a happy ending began to fade, replaced by a grim and growing certainty that the search for Gabby Petito would not end with her being found alive. As the nation watched the silent Petito home in Florida, the search for Gabby shifted to Wyoming's vast wilderness. The FBI and park rangers focused on Spread Creek, where Gabby and Brian had camped. On September 19th, human remains matching Gabby's description were found. The coroner confirmed her identity and ruled her death a homicide. The missing person case became a homicide investigation. All eyes turned to Florida and to Brian Laundrie, the only person of interest. The confirmation of Gabby Petito's death plunged the nation into mourning. Her story became personal for millions, who saw their loved ones in her smile and spirit. Vigils and memorials appeared across the country, as strangers left flowers and heartfelt notes. Gabby's parents spoke with profound loss, urging others to cherish their loved ones. They launched the Gabby Petito Foundation, turning grief into hope. But as the nation grieved, Brian Laundrie vanished, sparking a new search for answers. As Gabby Petito's search ended in tragedy in Wyoming, a new mystery began in Florida. Brian Laundrie's parents reported him missing after he vanished into the vast, dangerous Carlton Reserve. His car was found abandoned, but there was no sign of Brian. Police launched a massive search through the treacherous swamp, battling heat and wildlife. A federal warrant was issued, making Brian a fugitive. Weeks passed, and the swamp seemed to swallow him whole, leaving the nation to wonder if he was lost or hiding. The search for Brian Laundrie quickly became a national obsession, with police combing the Carlton Reserve and the public fueling a frenzy of theories online and in the media. Social media sleuths and news outlets tracked every rumor, while sightings poured in from across the country. Online detectives analyzed footage and timelines, hoping to solve the mystery themselves. Even celebrities joined the hunt, turning the search into a media spectacle. But through it all, law enforcement stayed focused on the swamp, believing the answers were hidden there. After weeks of searching, the manhunt for Brian Laundrie ended at the Carlton Reserve. On October 20th, 2021, his parents joined law enforcement and quickly discovered a white dry bag belonging to Brian. Nearby, investigators found partial human remains, a backpack, and a notebook. The remains were confirmed as Brian's through dental records. His death was ruled a suicide. The discovery ended the search, but left many questions about Gabby Petito's tragic fate unanswered. In the Florida swamp, investigators found a waterproof dry bag near Brian Laundrie's remains. Inside was a waterlogged notebook, fragile, but possibly holding the answers everyone sought. The FBI's forensic experts worked carefully, hoping to recover a final message. The world waited, wondering if the notebook would reveal a confession or deepen the mystery. It was the last key to the truth, a voice from the swamp. On January 21st, 2022, the FBI closed the Gabby Petito case, releasing Brian Laundrie's notebook. Inside, Brian confessed to killing Gabby, claiming it was a mercy after she was injured. But the coroner found no evidence supporting his story. Gabby died by manual strangulation. The notebook closed the case, but the tragedy left a lasting scar. After losing Gabby, her family transformed their grief into action, founding the Gabby Petito Foundation. Its mission: support families of missing persons and aid victims of domestic violence. The foundation offers resources, amplifies missing persons stories, and funds search efforts. Gabby's story became a national lesson in recognizing signs of abuse. Through advocacy and education, the foundation brings hope, awareness, and change. The Gabby Petito case captivated the nation and sparked a vital conversation about media bias in missing persons coverage. The term missing white woman syndrome highlighted how cases like Gabby's receive far more attention than those involving people of color, especially Indigenous women. Activists and families pointed out this painful disparity, demanding justice and equal coverage for all missing people. The outcry led to new initiatives, increased support for non-profits, and a push for systemic change. Gabby's story became a catalyst, reminding us that every missing person deserves to be seen and heard. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's story began as a dream of adventure, but ended in tragedy, exposing the dark reality behind filtered images. Her case became a cultural touchstone, sparking conversations about domestic violence, media bias, and the power and danger of social media. Gabby's legacy urges us to look closer, listen harder, and speak up for those in need, reminding us that behind every perfect picture, there may be a hidden truth.